Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. The Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. On the Believe in Dallas Cowboys podcast, Jeff and Jesse discuss the impressive brand of football the Cowboys are playing as of late. While some critics argue that the Cowboys haven't faced strong competition, the team's performances on the field tell a different story. A prime example of their dominance came in on Thanksgiving against the Washington Commanders, where the Cowboys emerged victorious with a staggering 45-10 win. Among those who are enthusiastic about the Cowboys' Super Bowl chances are analysts Jeff Kavanaugh and Jesse Holley. They see a team with the depth, skill, and determination needed to not only make it to the Super Bowl but also come away with the coveted Lombardi Trophy. While it's essential to maintain perspective and recognize that the NFL can be unpredictable, the Cowboys have undeniably put themselves in the conversation as legitimate contenders. Their impressive style of play and ability to secure convincing victories like the one against the Commanders are turning heads across the league. Cowboys projected to lose $10 million star with listening suitors. After an unsteady start to his first season as the Dallas Cowboys' unquestioned lead running back, Tony Pollard has come on in the last 2 weeks to make significant contributions in limited carries, and even hit the end zone twice after having gone 8 straight weeks without a score. Pollard followed up 61 yards rushing on 12 carries against Carolina in Week 11 with 79 yards rushing on 13 carries in Week 12 against the Commanders. That gives him an impressive 5.6 yards per carry in the last 2 weeks for Mike McCarthy's offense, considerably better than the 3.9 yards he had been averaging in the first 10 weeks of the year. Still, with Pollard and so many of his Cowboys teammates, and with his fellow running backs around the league, there is a background focus on where things go from here. That's because Pollard will be a free agent in the offseason, and the market on free agent running backs has all but collapsed in recent years. The devaluation is real, as you've now heard a million times, and it's only looking worse for the upcoming NFL offseason, as the contract-focused website Spotrac noted this week. What's more, analyst Mike Giannitti is foreseeing a situation in which Tony Pollard hits the open market, seeking a cap-adjusted version of Miles Sanders' free agent deal, 3 years, $20.5 million. Green Bay, Chicago, and Buffalo are listening. Miles Sanders agreed to a 4-year, $25 million contract this offseason with Carolina, about $5 million of which was paid this year. He was coming off a Pro Bowl year in Philadelphia, and has not done much to improve the possibility of a rebound in the running back market this season. After signing his new deal, he was dropped from the starting lineup 5 weeks into the year, replaced by third-year back Chuba Hubbard. The Cowboys are currently paying Pollard $10.1 million, having used the franchise tag on him last March. As Spotrac points out, the Cowboys won't have a lot of options with Pollard, given that they need to hand out top-of-the-line contracts to star quarterback Dak Prescott and receiver CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys overpaid Pollard by giving him the franchise tag last year. That won't happen again. The Cowboys gifted Tony Pollard a $10.1 million franchise tag as he rehabbed himself back to full health, and subsequently took over the RB1 reins for the first time, Giannitti wrote. As a $965,000 player in 2022, Pollard held a 98.5% value in our system. As a $10.1 million player in 2023, Pollard currently holds a 10.1% true value, or he's producing at a $1.01 million value currently, which just so happens to be his minimum available salary. Of the teams mentioned as potential suitors for Pollard, the Packers could be the team most likely to give him a better deal than the Cowboys can afford. In the offseason, remember, Green Bay surprised many by pursuing a trade for then-holdout running back Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. Taylor is 24, and the Packers saw him a more natural fit on the team's timeline than current oft-injured star Aaron Jones. CBS Sports NFL insider Josina Anderson reported, "I'm told both the #Dolphins and #Packers were both willing to give RB Jonathan Taylor a contract that placed him among the highest-paid running backs in the NFL entering the season," per source. Taylor wound up signing a deal worth $14 million per year. The Packers would not need to go that high for Tony Pollard, but the fact that he is 2.5 years younger than Jones has less wear and tear, having been a backup to Ezekiel Elliott for the first 3 years of his career, and is an excellent blocker in the pass game, makes him an interesting fit. In the end, Spotrac has Pollard's market value at $6.6 million per year. Even that might prove too expensive for the Cowboys with the other deals they have to give out, but if Pollard falls through the free agent cracks, he could wind up back in Dallas, though on a decidedly team-friendly contract. Dolphins' Tyreek Hill says Cowboys star might take my head off despite praise. In case you missed it, Dallas Cowboys superstar linebacker Micah Parsons called Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill the MVP of the league on November 21. Tyreek been the best player in the NFL this year. Parsons sounded off on X after PFF asked fans if there's a non-QB deserving of the MVP award in 2023. Hill must have seen this bit of commentary from the Cowboys defender because he addressed the praise on his latest episode of the It Needed to Be Said podcast on November 24. "I love it," Hill first responded with a smile. "Absolutely love it, baby." Although, the wideout did note that he was worried Parsons was trying to lower his guard ahead of the Miami's Week 16 matchup with Dallas. "It means a lot though, for real," the Dolphins superstar voiced. "Coming from your peers, that means a lot, but sometimes I be trying not to get so tied into that stuff, because I feel like sometimes people be trying to gaslight you. 'Cause like, we play the Cowboys, and I can't get too comfortable," Hill explained, joking. "I get out there, on the field, Micah take my head off. I ain't falling for it," Hill concluded as his co-host Julius Collins laughed and said, "You know what he doing, he trying to bait ya, man. Don't go for it." Hill may have one eye on Parsons and the Cowboys, for safety's sake, but the next opponent is one of Dallas' NFC East rivals. The Dolphins will play the Washington Commanders on the road at FedEx Field on December 3. Entering at 8-3, heavy projections powered by Quarter 4 currently give Miami an 82% win probability over the 4-8 Commanders. In fact, Washington is coming off a Thanksgiving Day blowout at the hands of Parsons and the aforementioned Cowboys, in which they allowed 431 total yards of offense and a defensive touchdown. This is a good matchup for Hill as well. The Commanders have given up the third most passing yards per game this year, at 264.6 yards per game. Washington cornerbacks have specifically been getting torched this season. Benjamin St. Just has allowed the most total receiving yards for all CBs in 2023 according to Pro Football Focus, with 741 allowed over 12 appearances. Then, rookie first-rounder Emmanuel Forbes is not far behind at 17th in the NFL in yardage allowed, 490, and is also injured, while veteran Kendall Fuller ranks tied for 33rd with 392 in coverage. Needless to say, this is a game where pass catchers like Hill and Jalen Waddle could feast. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel returned to the podium on Monday, November 27, providing a few key injury updates after the victory over the New York Jets. The first player asked about was rookie running back Devon Achane. Dolphins HC Mike McDaniel said multiple variables played a role in Devon Achane not playing versus the Jets, including the short week and the opponent, the Miami Herald's Daniel Oyefusi relayed. McDaniel is still taking things day by day with the explosive ball carrier, but it sounded possible that he could return again in some capacity versus the Commanders. Fellow running back Chris Brooks is also pretty close to a return, per McDaniel, although the HC noted that there are other injury hoops to work through before designating him to return to practice. The Sun Sentinel's David Furwans shared the latest on left tackle Terron Armstead too, which was positive. On Terron Armstead, Mike McDaniel said it would have been under consideration for him to return at NYJ if it was a one-score game. He posted, quoting, "He's going to be pressing hard to play." McDaniel calls it week to week, but team will have to weigh things out for his status at was, Furwans added. Finally, the Dolphins head coach informed that linebacker Jaylon Phillips has consulted with a number of doctors and should have a surgeon and a time for the procedure on his torn Achilles within the next 24 hours. Phillips suffered the injury during a non-contact incident at MetLife Stadium. And you fan, what do you think of the Tyreek Hill situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.